to regional wrestling, girls regionals here at Marshfield. 11 teams were taking place. 4 of them, because this is sort of a new sport, 4 of them did not have entrance, so it's going to be a fairly quick night, but there's going to be a lot of good wrestling. I'm your announcer, Rick Winters, and Ryan Rasmussen, one of the world-famous curling people, is the producer for tonight. And with this wrestling, some of the weight classes, girls have 12 weight classes, boys have 14. Some of these weight classes are very sparse tonight. In fact, 5 of them have 4 wrestlers, and that's the most in a weight class. So the wrestling's, well, it's going to be intense. It's going to go fast. We are going to skip the quarterfinals. We're going right straight to the semifinals. And at our weight class 100, there's not going to be anything until the finals. There are 2 competitors. So we will be getting started at 107. And they're getting ready with the announcements. Our officials for tonight, we have 4 very good, very seasoned officials. Lynn Eisensee out of Sparta, Glenn Gessel from Medford, Jeff Reba from Stanley are the 3 of the main officials. And it's going to be a very good night of wrestling. Eric Elmhurst, by the way, is the 4th official. Eric's coming to us from Abbotsford. So we will be getting the wrestling going very shortly here. Soon as we hit the 5 o'clock hour, they will be updating it for us on USA Bracketing, which is where most of the action that you want to see, most of the things that happen, take place. And the first wrestlers are going out there. My bracketing is yet to update. So it's just going to be a little bit of a delay for me while I try to get this updated. What happens is they don't want to, the WIAA does not want to release this information until 5 o'clock. The reason being, here at the end, some people move to different weight classes, and some people take the time. I was never one of them, but some people take the time to try to see who from another school at another regional is going to be somewhere and reposition their athletes accordingly to either meet them or to get around them. So here we have Madison Wagner from Nakusa is the number 1 seed, going against Taylor Fuller from Wisconsin Rapids. And Madison, with a 17-5 record, has Taylor in a lot of trouble over there on the first mat. Over on the other mat, Brinley Bremer, 20-18 sophomore from Marshfield, was against Meadow Varick, a 16-6 sophomore from Rosholt. A lot of these schools have varying numbers of participants. Some of them will come on in with 2 or 3 participants. Others, such as Stevens Point, Marshfield, they come in with almost full teams. And as I quickly try to update some of my materials, over there, Taylor Fuller gets the win over the number 1 seed, Madison Wagner. Sort of an upset. Fuller was 10-13. So kind of an upset there. Over at 114. And over here, I believe we have Danica Motes, a junior, 10-11 from Rosholt, going against Logan Boone, 31-13 sophomore from Marshfield. And Danica had her in a very tight headlock there. Picked up 5 quick points. I can see here that our scoreboards on the mat on to our right, the scoreboard's far on our right. It's hard to see, sort of hidden by a net. And quickly, Boone has moved from that headlock position, secured a reversal, and Logan Boone picks up 2 reversal points. On the mat to our left, it's Isabel Bratton, 22-5 senior from Nakusa, going against Alyssa Rezka, a 3-29 freshman from Stevens Point. And that match ends in a pin. Bratton will be moving on to the finals, taking on the winner of the match going on currently between Moats and Boone. New this year, USA Bracketing is doing most of the, in fact, all of the postseason for the WIAA. In the past, we had used track wrestling, something I was very familiar with, could move quite easily through. This is a little bit different for me, but I am slowly figuring it out. And I do believe right now, over on the mat on our left side, we have a 120. No, we have a 126-pound match coming up on our left side. Neva Carbell, a 36-12 junior from Stevens Point, going against Addison Rettler, 2-6 junior from Tri-County. On the mat on the right side, Danica Moats is giving Logan Boone from Marshfield a very difficult time, hanging on to her 5-2 lead here in the second period. Minute and a half to go. As I said, Logan Boone is a 31-13 sophomore, and she gets the reversal. She has Moats in a lot of trouble right now. There it was. Logan Boone comes from behind. She was trailing and gets the pin. Cool thing about this sport, it doesn't matter what kind of a lead you have, it can disappear in seconds. And Logan Boone will be moving on to the finals. In that final, it will be Isabel Bratton, 22-5 from Nakusa Port Edwards, against Logan Boone, 31-13. So a senior from Nakusa against a sophomore from Marshfield. And now coming up next on the mat to our right. Here at Marshfield, we're in a crow's nest. We're about a mile and a half above the mats. I can see them down there, but they are a little small at times. And we have up there right now, I believe, I think we're at 138 with Valencia, De La Torre at 126 for Marshfield. Valencia is a sophomore. She's ranked 16th in the state. And at this tournament, she is the second seed behind Stevens Point. Kind of a surprise. She is wrestling Morgan Bravner, a 4-12 freshman from Wisconsin Rapids, and she gets the pin in 1 minute. Valencia De La Torre, 39-13 sophomore, advances to the finals. As I said, this first round of matches are going to go very quickly. There's not a lot of depth in the weight classes, and we are already up to 138. At 138, we have Sabina Helmick, 11-15 junior from Assumption Pacelli, against Vanessa Rodriguez, 17-15 senior from Port Edward, Nakusa Port Edwards.
Now wrestling, man number 2, Erica Slesnikov.
Sabina is in the lighter blue uniform, Vanessa in the darker one. On the other mat was a 9-second pin by Marshfield. That happened so quick that it'd be hard to get a view of it even. That was also at 138, and at that weight, yeah, the Erica Slesnikov, a 43-2 junior from Marshfield, by the way, ranked 3rd in the state right now, registered a quick 9-second pin against Jalen Bakken, a 1-2 freshman from Wisconsin Rapids. And on the mat to the right, as you can see, the score continues 0-0. Almost the end of the first period between Sabina Helmick and Vanessa Rodriguez. Rodriguez is a senior and Helmick a junior. It was Nakusa's choice there, and surprisingly a little bit, she chose to ride. We'll see if that comes out to be a good call of hers or not. That puts Helmick on the bottom. Helmick is the 3rd seed in this tournament. Rodriguez, the 2nd seed. Rodriguez on top from Nakusa is doing a very good job, very good control. Girls wrestling is rather new to the state of Wisconsin. It is, by the way, the largest growing sport in the WIAA currently. Not a big surprise. The initial state tournament was a invitational where it was come if you want. It wasn't even a seeded tournament like what we have now. It was held in La Crosse, and 260 girls showed up to that first state tournament. Since then, it has really grown. This is one of many regionals in the state going on, and there's 60 girls here today. So the sport has really taken off, and I think it's really a good thing for the sport, where girls can compete against other girls from other schools. Over on the right mat, Morgan Gormanson, a 27-10 senior, has a nice lead against Olivia Schultz, 6-13 freshman from Rosholt. We're watching the match currently going on between Helmick of Assumption and Rodriguez of Port Edwards. Remember, Rodriguez chose to ride, and with 20 seconds left in this period, it looks like she is going to ride her out the whole period. It'll be interesting with it. It'll still be probably 0-0 at the end of the second. The coaches and Helmick have a choice to make here in the third, what they're going to do. 5 seconds left in the period. And it is still 0-0. Now the top 2 out of today's regional will be advancing to next week's sectional at Stevens Point. That sectional will feature girls from other sectionals, other regionals, Mondovi, Holman, and Watoma. So in this regional, there's not a lot of returning state people. Last year, if you might remember, might not, Ava Gardner from Marshfield was a state champ. And Ava 37-2 last year. She was also, I believe, state champ 2 years prior to that. Nakusa last year also had a state qualifier who graduated, Amaya Leverance. So this year, there was only 3 state-ranked wrestlers coming in. And I heard a sad story in the coach's room that Auburndale's wrestler, state qualifier, Jasmine Habert, was injured in a traffic accident this last week, sadly, and unable to compete today. We all hope she is doing well and can get back out to the mat soon. Jasmine Jr. Was a state qualifier last year and would have been really nice to see her today, and sadly she can't make it. Over on the mat between Helmack and Rodriguez in that third period picked up the pin and will be advancing on to the finals. So as I said, this first round is going to move quite rapidly, as a lot of these weight classes are very sparse. On the mat on the left, we'll quickly be moving up to 165. It looks like 145 they have listed. But the mat on the right, we're already up to 185.
Now wrestling, man number 1.
And wrestling there is Emily Bond, 12 and 15 junior from Plainfield Tri-County, against Alexis Fusco, 21 and 21 senior from Point. And Fusco is picking up the points and picks up the pin. She will be advancing on to the finals against the winner of Morgan Gormanson of Wisconsin Rapids and Olivia Schultz of Rosholt.
So after this round, we will be taking a short break.
When this round finishes, there will be a short little break. Everybody needs at least a 30-minute rest break in between matches. 30 minutes for someone in condition is more than enough time to recover. Used to be 30 minutes is a reduction. It used to be 45. Before that, back in the 70s, 80s, you needed 1 hour break to recover. 30 minutes is more than enough time to recover, I think. And the athletes are proving that to be the case, as they're ready to go in half an hour. So the 145-pound bout that you see currently going on is between Isabella Ward, a 2-2 senior from Wisconsin Rapids Lincoln. She is going against Delilah Young, a 13 and 19 freshman from Marshfield. And Young currently holds a 1-0 lead. In the first period, was awarded a penalty point. Isabel Ward's trying to set up that headlock, but not being successful with it. And the wrestlers go off the mat. Young was trying to set up that headlock. Ward did a good job of holding it off. Delilah Young hangs on to a narrow lead here. The winner of this one will automatically make it to sectionals. Young caught her in a headlock, ran out of time. She'll get the 3-point takedown. No near fall points. And after one period, Young holds a 4-0 lead over Ward. The mat on to the right is done with the wrestling in the first round already. As at 235, there are only 2 wrestlers. Very few wrestlers at a lot of these weight classes. In fact, at 152, with Auburndale's girl out with injury, there's only 1 wrestler at that weight class. So she advances automatically on to next week. And currently going on at the 145. While Young holds a 7-0 lead, she is giving up some back points right now. Ward picked up 2 back points. So 30 seconds into the period, it's become a much closer match. Ward's trying to get a cradle up there on top, but Young is trying to come around and get the reversal. She's got that leg. She just can't quite pull it in and secure the reversal yet. It was really interesting today. I sat in the coaches meeting as they did the seeds, which went as smooth as I've ever seen a coaches meeting go. But just interesting to listen to the coaches talk about these wrestlers, not just the ones here tonight, but the ones they'll see next week at sectionals and other ones around the state. A lot of them, I'm familiar with the names, but I don't have near the familiarity, near the scouting acumen, near what I would need to do that these coaches here have. They really know the girls in the state. It's much like the way it is with the boys. It's really fun to see how girls wrestling is just taking off. It looks like here Ward is going to ride her out for the whole period. She's trying right here for a chin drop, and Young turns around and manages to hold that off. So Ward not only rode out Delilah Young for the entire period, but also picked up 2 points while doing so. It's Young's turn now, though, in the third, and she says, I'm going to ride this period. There's no way I want to be below her for 2 more minutes. This USA bracketing, like I told you, it's a new system for me. I like it. It does a lot of things, a lot of neat things with setting up the matches so you can kind of see them in advance and see what's going on. The scoring is quick. As soon as the ref awards the points, they show up right away. There isn't yet a need for team scoring. I believe the WIAA next year will be advancing on to team scoring at the regional, sectional, and even the state level for next year will be scoring. There will be a state champs announced next year. Like I said, the sport continues to just grow. And Young turns her over, pins her. That was one fast pin there. Delilah Young from Marshfield gets that pin in 4 minutes and 39 seconds. And I think there will be another match coming up yet. According to my little tiny program that I have, which could be a lot bigger, that's for sure, I do have one more match that I haven't seen. They moved quite a few matches over to the other mat as long as they were ahead, but this one coming up will be at 165. Aaliyah Saletri, 18 and 16 freshmen from Marshfield, will be taking on Caitlin Glass, a 25 and 18 freshman from Marshfield. So 2 freshmen meeting here with sort of similar records. Glass is the number 2 seed. Saletri, 3rd seed. At this weight class at 165, Lila Fisher, 19 and 12 junior from Assumption Pacelli, is the top seed, and There's only 3 entrants at 165, so she had a bye first round. Up helping me today, I have my iPad, my phone, and a computer. And I need all 3 of them. Soletri has the takedown. She's going to be picking up back points too. Caitlin Glass manages to get off her back, but she gave up 3 back points, and Soletri jumps off to a 6-0 lead. A lot of these wrestlers, they have family. Maybe their dads, older brothers, but somebody developed an interest in them. And in these cases, in these 2 girls, I'm sure that's the case. Glass is a very familiar wrestling name to me from Marshfield. She's trying to get away from Soletri. She's got the stand-up. She's got 30 seconds to free those hands, which she does. Caitlin Glass from Marshfield, the Marshfield wrestler. A little bit of a road here to overcome. She's down by 5. And this headlock is in, and down it goes again for Rosholt. And Glass is pinned. Kind of an upset there as Aaliyah Salter uses that headlock to her advantage, uses it twice very well, and she gets the pin here in the final match of the first round. So, the next round will be very interesting, as it will be the finals already on one mat, third place going on another, but in several situations where there's only going to be 2 wrestlers, there will only be 1 match going on. You try to wrestle your finals and your third place match at the same time. So in case of a wrestle back with only the top 2 advancing, they both have about the same amount of rest. So, if one person gets done, the other one gets another 15 minutes to rest. When you're only getting 30, that's a big advantage. Hey, today's coverage of the WIAA Girls Wrestling on Zaleski Sports is brought to you by American Auto Sales and Service of Marshfield, Wash Force Exterior Cleaning, Next Step Prosthetics, Chips, Hamburgers, and Wheeler Chevrolet GMC. I'm really excited to be bringing you this wrestling, girls wrestling, on Zaleski Sports. And thank you to those sponsoring this, so those of us who are out there can watch it and see it and enjoy wrestling coverage. First Choice Credit Union in Marshfield serves anyone who lives and works in Wood, Marathon, Clark, or Portage counties. Make First Choice Credit Union your first choice for loans. Brad Krecklow and Ian Pierce are your rural mutual insurance agents in Marshfield. They offer a full line of insurance products. Contact them today for a free quote. So this next round, as I said, it will go fairly fast again in that for at 100, 120, 132, and 235, we skipped right past those rounds in the first round because there's only 2 people in those weight classes. Like I said, girls wrestling, while it is the fastest growing sport in Wisconsin, it is still a growing sport. The first, when I was looking up the WIAA website today, I believe the first girls championships were in lacrosse in 2022. So it's not all that long ago. And then the WIAA started to make it into a very competitive sport the next year, with the championships taking place in Madison. little history on that. There have been girls in wrestling in high school here in Wisconsin for a long time now. A couple of very successful girls. Alyssa Lampy, some of you may remember her from Tomahawk. She was at 106 pounds and made it all the way to the state finals. Her brother was I think he was state champ at the next weight class up that same year. And in 2016, I believe it was, maybe 17, from Stratford, Macy Kilty made it all the way to the state finals. In fact, if I remember this match right, she was wrestling Anderson from Clear Lake or Shell Lake, and she had him on his back the whole first period. I got out of that first period with a 5-0 lead, and I thought, wow, this is going to be the first girl state champ. This is going to be awesome. Anderson, somebody didn't tell him the match was over, and he kept going hard, and Macy Kilty lost that one. I think it was like 9-6, 9-7. It's been 10, 11 years, and sometimes, especially nowadays, my mind doesn't remember as well as it used to. My mind's filled up with a lot of what most of you would consider useless wrestling facts. It's always fun when we get together with people from the Merriwood Conference down at the state tournaments. We always gather after Friday afternoon session, and every school's there, and we always argue about everything you can imagine. And it's just a great way to spend an afternoon, and I have to rely on these useless facts quite a bit during that time. The next match is going to be some better wrestling in that some of those who maybe their records weren't as good are fighting in that third place match, whereas you're getting these people now who their goal is do well today and then do well next Friday at Stevens Point and make it to that state tournament. Just a reminder for you that today's coverage of WIAA Wrestling on Zaleski Sports is brought to you by American Auto Sales and Service of Marshfield, Wash Forest Exterior Cleaning, Midstate Technical College, and Grassland Butter. Also, Marshfield Fast Pitch and Nasonville Dairy. So Hiller's Hardware. I just saw in the news the other day that Hiller's Hardware has become Ace Hardware. Hiller's Ace Hardware. And in central Wisconsin, it's going to be our Milwaukee Tool Destination Center. On the job or in the woods, be ready to fight winter's elements. Check out Hiller's large selection of heating gear to keep you warm wherever you go this winter. Hiller's Ace Hardware in Marshfield. Tell you, I love some of the things they have come up with nowadays for winter gear. Where were those heated jackets when I had recess duty every day? I could have used those things. There were some brutal days on that third grade playground. Brutal for me. Third graders were in t-shirts and shorts. Didn't seem to bother them much, but sure wasn't weather for me. This break's going to be probably about another 4 or 5 minutes. It gives people a chance to run out to the concession stand, grab a little popcorn, a little soda. Gives me a chance to get my notes together going on through here. Like I said, there were 12 schools, I believe, in this. 12 schools in this regional, but Allman Bancroft, Amherst, Pittsville, and today, because of that accident to Jasmine, Auburndale failed to bring an entrant too. So 8 schools have lineups. Marshfield, Stevens Point, and Wisconsin Rapids Assumption Pacelli have very full lineups. Nakusa also brings a good, solid group of girls to this competition. Wisconsin Rapids Assumption Pacelli, very interesting, very fun to watch this group of young people, in that this is Assumption and Pacelli They have a co-op going on, and this is their first year together. Now, for those of you who have been around wrestling for a long time, and you can remember years back when Assumption had the Cypresses and the Heags and the Jackins and some of those guys, and Pacelli had Kiefer and who were some of them, but just solid lineups for those two schools. But in many ways, and it's like this for a lot of sports, if you lose your coach, or your coach gets tired of it and wants to enjoy 14, 15 hours on a Saturday doing something else, it's hard to replace them. Good coaches are hard to replace, and that's, you got to really be lucky sometimes, especially nowadays when there just aren't as many teachers around. So at least with teachers you had sort of a on-site person, but it's getting difficult. I'm sure declining enrollments plays a lot into every sport. That's why it's so enjoyable to see all these girls competing. And for many of them, the talent, the moves that they're displaying, just fun to watch. Sectionals next week. If you want to see some amazing girl wrestling, sectionals next week when they bring in Mondovi. And I looked at some of the teams competing at Holman and Watoma. Really some tough teams. Like I said, I was sitting around earlier today. I got here early and I was listening to the Stevens Point coach talking to the Marshfield coach about different girls throughout the state, the weight classes they thought they were going to be in, how tough they were going to be. Really fun to listen to that conversation as a wrestling person. Great deal of talent in central Wisconsin, that's for sure. Wrestling in this area has always been sort of a hotbed of talent. Marshfield in the last decade or so has really come on. Stratford, Athens, of course, they had their dynasties. Nakusa was tough back in the 90s, 2000s, really a tough group of wrestlers through there. You take Neilsville, who's at a different regional today. Loyal, who nowadays can co-ops with Neilsville. Great wrestlers all over central Wisconsin. And one of the reasons for that back years ago was obviously the farm kids. Every farm kid who came out for wrestling, not everyone, but many farm kids who came out for wrestling didn't come out because they liked the sport. They just wanted something different than milking, feeding cows all night. And that's why a lot of them came out, but they were tough kids with good work ethics and developed into good wrestlers. And now, for some of those kids back in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, they're watching their granddaughters or daughters wrestle today. It's kind of exciting. Hey, Rice More Than Floors in Marshfield is your place to go for carpets and floor covering. Stop in today. Quality window treatments, paint, tile, remnants, and as I said, quality flooring. Visit their showroom, visit their website, give them a call today. That's Marshfield's Rice's More Than Floors. Valley Community Credit Union. For 90 years, Valley Community Credit Union has been your hometown team. Local, trusted, strong. Valley Communities Credit Union, where community comes first. Federally insured by NCUA. Like I said, our referees for today have traveled a long ways for this. Very experienced, very good group of officials for today's contest. Lynn Eisensee out of Sparta, Glenn Gessel out of Medford, Eric Elmhurst. Originally, Eric wrestled, I can remember him as a kid wrestling for Neilsville. He's out of Abbotsford, and Jeff Reba from Stanley. And it looks like they're going to be getting ready for this next round to start soon. I see some of the girls on the sidelines getting warmed up, ready to go. Every weight class this time will be in action except for 152. And I have to reboot my computers again. Nobody's out after 2 rounds. Everybody's still in this. But if you got beat the first round, now what you have to do is hope not only that you win your next match, but then you have to hope that the person who beats you emerges from here as a champion. If the person who beats you gets beat in the finals, you're done. You're going to finish in 3rd place and your season's going to be over. And that's going to happen, sadly, to a lot of girls who have put in a lot of work this season. Not everybody gets to advance on to the next week, whether it be regionals or sectionals. It's often said that this time of year, the highs are high and the lows are really low. And I've experienced both over the years. The highs were always easier for me to deal with, but in wrestling, in any sport, someone is going to win and someone is going to lose. A. Felker Brothers of Marshfield, a leading manufacturer of stainless steel products, congratulates student athletes across central Wisconsin on your accomplishments, both on and off the courts and fields. Best of luck this season from Felker Brothers of Marshfield. We're going to be watching the first place matches. All first place matches will be wrestled on mat number 1. And this first match coming up, there we go. This first match coming up is going to be Rylan Olson, 27-7 junior from Nakusa, Port Edwards, will be going against Aubrey Engevold. Aubrey is a 33-16 sophomore from Marshfield. They will be wrestling, as you look at the 2 mats, and they look exactly alike, on the one on the left. And as soon as I say that, I could be wrong, of course. But yes, they will be wrestling your mat on the left. My great producer, Ryan Rasmussen, assured me I was right on this one. As I said, Rylan Olson from Nakusa. The Olsons are a strong wrestling family over there. Aubrey Engevold, just a sophomore here from Marshfield. Both of them very quality wrestlers at 100 pounds, coming in with very good records. And this should be a very good match coming up shortly. Engevold is already reported to the scores table, and Olson is approaching it now. And the wrestlers are coming out to the mat. We will be getting this match going. This is at the 100-pound weight class. Now, the winner from this one at sectionals next week, I don't believe they seed the sectionals, so they'll be taking on a second place from another, one of the regionals in their first match. Once you get to state, they seed the state tournament nowadays. I think that's a very good move to do. For those of you into wrestling, years ago, there was a black from River Falls, undefeated, 4-time state champ, and Tritz from Rapids decided he wanted to beat him. And he went up the weight. He would have been a state champ, obviously, at his weight class, but he wanted to beat Black. He went up and made that attempt. And because we didn't have seeding back there, probably the best match that year in the state tournament took place on Friday night. It was kind of sad to see it so early, but nowadays with seeding, those things don't happen. And at this 100-pound weight, Rylan Olson gets the takedown, picks up the 3 points. She's a little high right now, though, against Engvald, and Ingevald takes advantage of that, gets the takedown, almost picked up back points. Both of them have head tosses on, but I'm not sure they can get it. Olsen's going to try to come out the back door for this reversal. Engevald's got the legs in, if you can see that. Both legs in. By old rules, they'd be out of bounds because all 4 feet are out of bounds. But nowadays, all you need in bounds is 1 supporting point. And the referee gives her the 2-point reversal. Said she managed to pull her head out just in time. So 43 seconds left in this period. And Engevald will be on the bottom, trailing 5-2. I don't have last year's records on these two, but if you watch them go, both of them at 100 pounds, both of them know what they're doing out there. Olsen's trying for a coffee grinder. Caught the arm, but Engevald was way too strong for her to pull back. She does have a barbed wire on her, trying to come around to the front and turn her over onto her back, but 5 seconds remaining in this period. I don't think she's going to get it. And she doesn't. So the first period ends with Olsen holding on to a 5-2 lead over Aubrey Engevald. And with the flip, came down to Olsen. She's going to defer. When she crosses her hands in front of her, what that means to the official is, I'm not going to make up my mind this period, I'll make it up next. Engevald says, I spent enough time on the bottom that last period, I'm going to ride and try to turn her. So she chooses to be on top to ride. And she immediately puts that armbar on, turns her. Nice armbar into a turn. Olsen's in a lot of trouble here. Trying to slip her arm through to avoid this, but Engevald grabs that arm, says, no, you're not getting that one. Olsen's in big trouble, 1.5 minutes to go yet in this period. She's really putting the pressure on that outside shoulder, trying to get it down. Looks like she's got it tight now. Referee is looking at the inside shoulder. She's going to try to pick that head up. If she can get that head picked up, that'll bring those shoulders down. She's got that inside shoulder close to her up, and she's putting that pressure on there. Still 1 minute to go in this period. But Olsen manages to get out of that 4 near fall, and Engevald takes a 6-5 lead. Engevald's going to go right away with that armbar again. Same thing she just turned her with, because it was successful, and she gets her again. Going to pick up at least 4 more points. She might get the pin this time, as Olsen is really starting to wear down. All that trying to fight off the bottom, that takes a lot of gas out of you. And there it was. Aubrey Engevald from Marshfield gets the pin in 3 minutes and 37 seconds over Rylan Olsen of Nakusa. Engevald very tough with that armbar series that she was running, and Olsen just couldn't stop it. Next weight class is 107, and at this weight class, we will have both mats in action. On mat 1, Taylor Fuller, the 4th seed, made it to the finals. She will be going against Metal Barrick, 18-6 sophomore from Marshfield. And on the other mat, it will be Madison Wagner, 17-6 junior from Nakusa Port Edwards against Brinley Brimmer, 20-19 sophomore from Marshfield. We will be watching mat 1, and on that mat, Varick quickly gets the 3-point takedown. Fuller did a nice job just advancing to this final, beating Madison Wagner in the semis. And Wagner over on the other mat quickly gets the takedown. Meadow Varick has that armbar on. She's going to tilt her down. And the ref gave a 2 count, I think. I saw 2 swipes, but here comes more. That half is in there really tight. Fuller is in a lot of trouble here as there's still a minute to go in this period. The outside shoulder's staying up, but she's got that pressure on, and that half is as tight as it can be. There it was. Pin for Meadow Varick, the 20-6 sophomore from Rosholt. She will be advancing on to next week as a champ at 107. And on the other side, we will be wrestling that mat all the way through. In that one, if Brinley Brimmer from Marshfield can get this win, she will get a wrestle back. However, if Madison Wagner from Nakusa pulls it off, then the results will stay just as they are. Currently, it's a very close match, but back points are coming for Brimmer. She picked up 4 back points, and after 1 period, Brinley Brimmer has secured an 8-3 lead over Madison Wagner. It is Madison's choice. And because she took the break, for some reason I couldn't quite see what was happening down there, but the referee hit her with a penalty point. She took something and gave it to the coach. I'm not sure what it was. My guess is it was illegal equipment. And Brimmer is took the chance to ride. She got cautioned. Hand wasn't on the elbow. Lynn Eisen sees the ref on this mat. Madison Wagner does a quick stand-up. The ref hasn't secured the point. There it is, the point. Once she achieved that separation, she got the 1-point escape. But Brinley quickly takes her down. She's got a tight crossface on, and she's going to secure the takedown here. Referee gives her the 3. Brinley moves out to a 12-4 advantage here in the second period, about halfway through. Headgear problem. Got to get that headgear fastened back on again. When they do, Madison will be on the bottom. Brinley will be trying to turn her, try to secure more points. She has an 8-point advantage right now. If she can secure a 15-point advantage, meaning she needs 7 more, the match will be over. It'll be a technical fall. Nice shoulder roll there by Wagner. Secures the single leg, but can't advance it. Brimmer quickly gets the control back again. She's got that armbar on. Same armbar that her teammate used last match, and she cranks her over. If she can secure that head, it's going to be very difficult for Wagner, and it was. So Brinley Brimmer gets the pin. And what that means is there will be at 107 a wrestleback.
There will be a wrestleback at 170 pounds, or 107 pounds.
So we will now be moving up to 114. At 114, Isabel Brayton, 24 and 5 senior, will be wrestling Logan Boone, 33 and 13 sophomore. So we got the senior from Nakusa going against the sophomore from Rapids. And on the mat for third, it will be Alyssa Reska, a 3 and 30 freshman, against Danica Motes, 10 and 12 junior from Rosholt. So we have Brayton against Boone, and Brayton secures a very nice double leg. Moved up to a barbed wire off it. Slides that into a half. But good job on the bottom by Logan Boone. Prevents going over, and score remains 3-0. 1 minute gone here in this championship match at 114. Over on the third place match, Motes has Reska in a headlock with her feet just barely staying in bounds to secure the 4. And that match ends with a pin for Motes. She is going to need Boone to pull this one off, or her season will be coming to a close. And Brayton doing a very good job of riding, keeping the weight up on those front shoulders. Tried for a chin drop there. Just a half a second too late to get it, though. Gave Boone enough time to get her balance back onto her base. And this first period is going to come to an end. There were points awarded. I think it was 2 back points. It was. Brayton picks up 2 back points right at the very end. Boone needed about another second to secure that reversal. Just came up just short, and Brayton moves to a 5-0 lead going into the second period. It was Boone's choice. She defers. Brayton chooses both up again. Scorers table's got a little problem understanding all the points and how fast they went. Hey, discover Marshfield's wellness destination. Be Well Studio. Experience cutting-edge recovery tools like hydromassage, infrared sauna, red light therapy, PEMF, and more. All these are designed to help your body and your mind feel the best. Each 15 to 30-minute session is just $29 with membership and packages available. Book your wellness session today at BeWellStudios.com. So here in the second period, both wrestlers on their feet. If you remember the first period, Brayton secured a really nice double leg. I'm sure she's looking for something similar to that again this time. She's got the head control, but Boone was way too tough on that. Brayton was hoping to get a spin behind, but Boone wouldn't allow that to happen. Boone has a little bit of a forward stance, meaning her head's out a little far over the rest of her body, which makes it a little easier for Brayton to try to pull her down to her feet and spin. A lot harder, though, for Brayton to get that double leg again with those feet back as far as they are. Boone tried a sweep, a single leg sweep, but Brayton was able to get her feet back. What she's going to try to do now is free her leg. Boone's got a nice hold on that leg, and she's not going to let it go. What Brayton would like to do is break her back down just like she did. Break her down off of her knees, get her flat onto the mat, free those legs like she has now. She's got a barbed wire on. She's got the 3-point takedown, and she's going to try to secure back points off of this barbed wire. Sure enough, she's got the back points. She's picked up 4 back points on this. Going to give her a 12-0 lead at least. There's only 10 seconds remaining here in this second period. She's not going to get the pin this period, that's for sure. And we're going to go into the third period. Isabel Brayton, the 24-5 senior from Nakusa, holds a 12-0 lead over Logan Boone, the 33-13 sophomore from Marshfield. And Danica Moats needs Boone to pull off the nice big comeback here. Or the two who are there will not be a wrestle back here at 114. Boone's got that half on. Half on with grabbing the outside wrist and moving around to the front. But Isabel Brayton knows that all she has to do is maintain a good solid base down there. Make a few attempts at stand-ups and let the seconds tick off. Once you reach the playoffs, and it's about that way. Whoops, she just got hit for stalling. You hit the playoffs, though. The goal is win and move on. Doesn't matter what you win by. Minute left here in this match. Boone's got that arm bar, trying to get that arm up high enough to get her body under it. But Brayton watched the Marshfield girls do that a few times already, and she's got that hand control, wrist control, makes it hard to do. Very nice job by Isabel Brayton, just waiting. Logan Boone had to get out front, had to take a couple chances when you're down by that much, and Brayton just waited for her time, hit it right when she needed to, and got the reversal. 30 seconds to go, and Brayton on top, holding on to a 14-0 lead. I think she's quite comfortable with that lead. There won't be a wrestle back, as I said, at 114. 10 seconds remaining in this period. And Isabel Brayton's going to advance to next week's sectionals with a 14-0 lead, a win over Logan Boone. No wrestleback at 114. Takes us to 120. 120, there's only 2 competitors. They're both advancing to next week. Today's coverage of the WIAA Girls Wrestling Regionals on Zaleski Sports is brought to you by American Auto Sales and Service of Marshfield, Wash Force Exterior Cleaning, Gross Auto Group, Hiller's Ace Hardware, and Hefco Floral. So Lauren Boone, 28-19 senior from Marshfield, the number 1 seed, going against Addison Morin, 17-15 junior from Wisconsin Rapids. Boone, the 1 seed, going against Morin, the 2 seed. The only 2 wrestlers at this 120-pound weight class. And Boone, nice takedown. Morin tried to make a roll out of it. She got the 3-point takedown. And the ref stops it. My guess is the arm in the headlock slipped out. Yes, that is what happened. When you put a headlock on a person, you have to keep your arms locked above the elbow. If it slips down below the elbow, it becomes illegal. And that's what happened to Boone, giving up the penalty point. So 30 seconds in, she has a 5-0 lead. Good job of riding, keeping the pressure up on those front shoulders. Addison Morin's trying to get away, but Boone's doing a real good job on the ride. Keeping the pressure on. So Addison's the senior. Logan at 114 was the sophomore. Lauren, excuse me, is the senior. Logan's the sophomore. Nice to have a practice partner in your house every night. 30 seconds remaining, and the referee hits a warning on Morin on the bottom that she's got to try to do a little bit of moves. And Lauren Boone puts that armbar on, comes around on her. 20 seconds left, I don't know. Nope, she doesn't make it. Lauren Boone with the 1 minute and 42 second pin becomes a regional champ for the Tigers. Her and her sister are both advancing on to next week's sectional. Hey, Nuts Deep. Events were made for Nuts Deep 2 in Marshfield. Large groups or small private party spaces available for your event. Call now for available dates. At 126, we have Nava Gabriel, a 38-12 junior, 50 matches in already from Stevens Point. She will be going against Valencia De La Torre, 40-13 sophomore from Marshfield. De La Torre, the sophomore, is ranked 16th in the state, one of only 2 ranked wrestlers here today. But she's got her hands full against Nevaeh Gabriel. On the other mat, Addison Rettler from Tri-County going against Morgan Bravener from Wisconsin Rapids. And Valencia De La Torre gets the takedown. De La Torre, even though she's ranked in state, is the number 2 seed here today. On the other mat, Rettler from Tri-County gets the takedown. 2-7 Rettler against 4-13 Brevner from Wisconsin Rapids. On the championship mat, though, Cabral gets an escape, and now she is in nice and deep on this single leg, trying to move it to a double. Gets the takedown. She might pick up some back points here. De La Torre got her arm caught, and she is going to give up some back points. In fact, she's going to give up more than back points. Nevaeh Gabriel scores a 1 minute and 22 second pin at 126. She does look happy about that one. I'm sure those 2 girls have met a few times this year. But Gabriel will be going as the champion to next week's sectional, and De La Torre will be the runner-up. I don't think, though, at 126, I'd want to run into either one of them next weekend. Both of them very good wrestlers. Okay, we're going to be moving up to 132. There are 2 wrestlers at this weight class. At Stratford Plumbing and Heating, your comfort and convenience is their top priority. They service all brands and do complete furnace and air conditioning installation with professional service to Stratford, Marshfield, and the surrounding areas. Call Stratford Plumbing and Heating today, your home comfort experts. And here we have Abby Kraft, a 6'16" freshman from Assumption, going against Emmy Rasmussen, 3'7" freshman from Wisconsin Rapids. Now, whereas the last match at 126 had a couple of very seasoned people, we have some newer people here competing in this finals. Kraft, the freshman from Assumption Pacelli, as I said, quite a amazing, quite a very good co-op to develop in a year. And Emmy Rasmussen, they're both freshmen. So it'll be interesting to see just what happens here as these two battle it out. Rasmussen's in there trying for a single leg, but Kraft manages to spin around, gets the 3 points. Rasmussen's hands were still on the mat, so she's going to get the first points of this match. Rasmussen does the stand-up, gets away. Two are battling it out here at 132, where there's only two people at this weight class. So both of them will be advancing to next week. It's just a matter of who's going to be first. And 5 seconds remaining in this first period. First period comes to a close with Abby Kraft hanging on to a 3-1 lead over Emily Rasmussen. The disc is flipped and Rasmussen gets her choice. Since she got away quite easily after being taken down, she's going to choose to go down again. Try to secure another easy stand-up escape. This time, though, Kraft's not going to be letting her stand up quite as easily, trying to keep that pressure on. Rasmussen's pirouette. There she comes up to a stand-up. Now she's got to free the arms. You only have so many seconds to bring them back down to the mat, 5 seconds, before you get called for stalling. So you got to bring them down or let them go, and in this case, Abby Kraft chooses to let her go. Another point for Rasmussen. 3-2 is the score. This next takedown is going to be a big one. And again, Rasmussen shoots in. She shot in last time too, but couldn't finish it. And Kraft was able to get the crossface on. Same thing this time. Rasmussen does the nice shot on the takedown, but Abby Kraft counters and gets the 3-point takedown. Kraft trying with that half, got way too far out front. Rasmussen gets the 2-point takedown. Kraft gets the 1-point escape. And with 45 seconds remaining in this second period, we've got a 7-4 lead going on for Abby Kraft. Both wrestlers making a few mistakes out there, but neither one's able to capitalize on the other one. Rasmussen right now has a 2-on-1 type of tie-up, switches it to a collar tie. Kraft hanging on to that lead. She's pretty content just to stay here and go into the third, see what happens. And Rasmussen's given up 6 points on those shots. I don't think she's going to shoot in the waning seconds. I was wrong. In again on that single leg. Kraft trying that same takedown again. No, she needed one more second to get that. So third period, it's Kraft's choice, and since she's gotten 2 takedowns already, she chooses both up. Rasmussen's got to readjust. She's down by 3. Shooting that single leg's not working for her. So got to try something, maybe a duck under, maybe an arm drag, but trying those slow singles and doubles isn't working, and she needs a takedown. Now, Kraft's been warned for stalling. I believe she's been warned, so she has to be a little careful, but she's nursing a nice 3-point lead, and she's pretty content just to stay tied up. Minute 20 remaining in this contest. If Rasmussen can secure this takedown, there she goes again, but again, Kraft's able to counter, able to get the 3, and she grabs a 6-point lead now with a minute remaining. If Rasmussen's got a 6-point move, she needs to hit it. Tomorrow, the sectionals for boys, regional sectionals, WIAA is trying something different this year. It's going to be interesting. Regional sectionals takes place tomorrow. The gyms are going to be crowded. I'd suggest getting there early. The gym is always crowded for sectionals, and tomorrow you're going to be doubling the size, tripling the size of the people there. You're going to have fewer teams, but every team brings everybody they have, so it's going to be pretty crowded. I'm off tomorrow to Independence, small gym to begin with, so I'm getting there early. And this match, Kraft is going to ride this one out. She's going to secure the 10-4 victory and advance as the number 1 to next week's sectional at Stevens Point. That sectional, as I said, is on Friday, and it's going to take place at 5 o'clock. So 5 o'clock next Friday at Stevens Point Senior High. Hey, today's coverage of the WIAA Girls Wrestling Regionals here on Zaleski Sports is brought to you by American Auto Sales and Service of Marshfield, Wash Force Exterior Cleaning, Little Sprouts, River Ridge Exteriors, Barn Find, and Infinity Roofing. Doing these reads, these advertisements for me is a little different. I've been doing mostly Pittsville sports this year, and sort of fun to get here and read a whole bunch of new advertisers. We thank our advertisers because without you guys, this wouldn't happen. And people enjoy it. They really do. I hear from people all the time with basketball, with wrestling, baseball in the spring, that they just love watching sports on Zaleski Sports. Here at 138, Marshfield's Erica Zelenko. Zelenko took third at state last year, and she wastes no time at all with Vanessa Rodriguez. Quickly puts Rodriguez onto her back. Rodriguez is a 19 and 15 senior from Nakusa, Port Edwards. And Erica Zelenko finishes that one in 20 seconds. Zelenko moves her record for the year to 46 and 2 here at 138. She took third at state last year at 126. Yes, 126. I'm sure she's looking to climb a little higher on the podium now, and she wastes no time there advancing on to the sectionals. Rodriguez for Nakusa Port Edwards is hoping over here on the far mat that Sabina Helmick wins this one. And she did. Sabina Helmick pins Jalen Bakken in a minute and 2 seconds. What that means is, for Rodriguez, she will be advancing. There will not be a wrestle back at 138. We're going to be moving up to 145. 145 only has the championship match going on. Paige Howard, the number 1 seed with a 19 and 14 record, is a junior from Nakusa, Port Edwards. She'll be going against Delilah Young, a 15 and 19 freshman from Marshfield. So 19 and 14, Howard against 15 and 19, Young.
The last matches in this round are completed. We will bring out the awards
Howard shoots down low. She's got that single leg nice. She's got the head in the side, trying to secure an inside cradle. Didn't follow through with it though. Young moves up with a single leg, and it's going to scramble for Howard, but she manages to spin behind and gets a 3-point takedown for Nakusa Port Edwards. In this match, Isabella Ward from Wisconsin Rapids is hoping that Young can pull this one off. Otherwise, she does not get a wrestle back. But I think Paige Howard, she doesn't want anything to do with a wrestle back. Wrestle backs are really difficult because you put all your energy into the championship match, and then all of a sudden you got to come back and win to advance. The person coming up at you from the third place match has already won their last one. They got all the momentum going, and it gets difficult. Paige there picks up a 2-point near fall. Got a half on, trying to work it. Keeps the arms nice and tangled up. Young doesn't have much she can do underneath. When that pressure is putting you on your front shoulders, it's hard to move. Howard tries a cross-face cradle. Young controls the arm. So now she's going to try an inside cradle, but her head is too far over, so she's going to just try to force it, and it works. She's going to pick up 4 near fall. 10 seconds remaining in this period. I think, sure enough, she gets 4 near fall. Howard moves ahead to a 9-0 lead. That ends the first period. So Howard gets her choice. She chooses to defer. Young sees a chance here. She chooses to ride. Very wise move when you're down 9-0, because in wrestling, it doesn't matter how much you're behind by. If you can pin the other person, the match is over. So right now, Young's trying to turn her, but not going to succeed. Howard does a nice, quick, sort of a sit out to a switch. Didn't catch the arm, but comes behind, gets the 2-point takedown, and moves up to an 11-0 lead. What Howard would love to do right now, and she's got a deep half in on Young, she'd like to turn her right now, get the 4 points, and end this thing. And there it is. The ref is counting it off. She secured the 4 points, meaning this match basically is done. Even if Young were to come back and pin her right now, it doesn't matter. Once you secure a 15-point difference, it doesn't matter what the other person does. It's over. And Paige Howard gets the pin in 2 minutes and 57 seconds. She will be advancing to next week as the champion at 145. Delilah Young will be advancing also as the runner-up. At 152, we are going to zip through that weight class because Elise Stanton, a 12 and 16 freshman from Wisconsin Rapids, is the only entrant. So she is going to move right on to next week's sectional. And we are going to go to 165. At 165, we have Lila Fisher, 19 and 12 junior from Assumption Pacelli, going against Aaliyah Salatre, a 20 and 16 freshman from Rosholt. Salatre scored a pin in her semifinals over Caitlin Glass of Marshfield. She was trailing at the time by 5-4 score and came around to get the pin, moving her to the finals. Now for Glass from Marshfield, she doesn't have a match here. She has to hope that Salatre, the Rosholt girl, gets the win in this one over Fisher, or she will not be advancing to next week. One thing I noticed about Rosholt, they do come out very aggressive. I'm sure for some of the competitors that's a little different than what they're used to. And Salatre shoots down in a single leg, trying to pull it in. But Fisher's got all the weight on her, trying to spin behind and get the 3. And they go off the mat. Both wrestlers still up at 165. Shot there from Rajal. You could hear the coaches maybe telling her it was a poor shot. They kept yelling at her to back out, and she listened quickly. Both of these wrestlers seem very balanced, very even. And Slattery gets the takedown. However, they're out of bounds by a couple of feet. So they're going to come back to the center and go again. Zero here in the last seconds of the first period. I think all 3 wrestlers at this 165 weight class pretty evenly balanced. And as I said, it'll be interesting if Fisher doesn't win this one. Can she come back in the wrestle back? Nice try there by Slattery trying to get that takedown, but Fisher manages to hold her off. And technical violation. I think the referee just hit Fisher for a point, saying she tried to flee the mat to avoid that takedown. I think that's what he called. Slattery's choice here. She chooses both up. And she has a 1-0 lead going into the second period. Scramble going on right now. And sure enough, Slattery is the one who comes out on top. Gets the takedown. She's going to get back points. She's got Fisher in a lot of trouble, and there it is, a pin. Aaliyah Slattery, the 21-16 freshman, is your regional champ at 165, and there will be a wrestleback here. Marshfield's Caitlin Glass has a chance to advance now, as she will be wrestling Lila Fisher from Assumption Pacelli. And the winner of that wrestleback will be going on to sectionals. Hey, ShedsDelivered.com. ShedsDelivered.com is your one-stop shop for sheds, barns, cabins, garages, greenhouses, chicken coops, and hunting blinds. All crafted by skilled Amish artists. See their display lots in Marshfield, Medford, and Wisconsin Rapids. And get more information at shedsdelivered.com. At 185, we have Morgan Gormanson, 29-10 senior from Wisconsin Rapids, going against Alexis Fusco, a 23-21 senior from Stevens Point. So 2 seniors going against each other. And on the other mat, in the battle for third, Olivia Schultest, 6-14 freshman against Emily Bond, 12-16 junior from Tri-County. So Gormanson is the number 1 seed here at this weight class. 185, that weight class in the state probably has one of the toughest wrestlers I've ever seen in my life. Brooke Hoffman out of Wittenberg, Burnhamwood. She is amazing. Talking to a couple of the coaches here, and when she was in 8th grade, she competed at the Stevens Point Open Girls Division College and placed 3rd. That's the story I heard at the coaches meeting today. Amazing, and it doesn't surprise me at all. Brooke Hoffman, undefeated as a freshman, state champ at this weight, undefeated sophomore at this weight. Got over 100 pins already, 100 wins, 100 pins. I don't know if in high school, if anyone's ever gone 6 minutes against her. She is that skilled. and she's at this weight class. Luckily, she's not at our sectional next week, which is really good because opens up another chance for one of our girls to make it. Gormanson gets the takedown, puts a nice cradle onto Fusco, but Fusco's able to shake it. Did give up, however, 2 back points here at the end of the first period. And at the end of the first period, Morgan Gormanson, the senior from Wisconsin Rapids, has a 5-0 lead over Alexis Fusco. On the other mat, very close match going on as Olivia Schultes from Rosholt has a 6-4 lead over Emily Bond from Tri-County. And Fusco's doing the riding here. Gormanson's going to try to get an escape. Taking a risky maneuver here, but it's going to pay off for her. She's managing to get her hips over. Usually that's not a good move to do because, and you can see it right here, it was not a good move to do. Fusco is going to be picking up back points. Whenever you get your hips a little too high, the key is in something like that, you got to have good control, and she didn't. She gave up 3 back points. So Fusco's right back in this match now, and Gormanson finds it a lot closer than she would like. 5-3 halfway through the second period. Fusco's got a nice spiral ride on. And again, Gormanson tries to step over. This time she was successful. First time she wasn't, gave up 3. This time she gets the 2-point reversal. She's got the barbed wire on to Fusco, and she's going to try to get some back points. Fusco manages to get to her base. Belly flat onto the mat. It's going to make it a lot harder for Gormanson to tip her. She keeps trying to work that barbed wire. I think she's going to get it. She does. Referee's counting off the back points. It looks flat right where I am at. It was. The referee calls the pin. And Morgan Gormanson, 30-10 senior, is going to be our regional champion here at 185 pounds. Now for Alexis Fusco, she would like not to have to wrestle again, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen currently. Currently, Olivia Schultes from Rosholt has a 12-8 lead over Emily Bond. And should Schultes hang on and win this one, there will be a wrestle back at 185. There's 15 seconds left here in the second period on that match. I had all my attention on the championship match. I wasn't paying a lot of attention to this one. And Bond puts her on her back, gets the pin on the buzzer. So with Bond getting that pin coming from behind and pinning Schultes, there will not be a wrestleback here at 185. Hey, today's coverage of the WIAA Girls Wrestling Regionals here on Zaleski Sports is brought to you by American Auto Sales and Service of Marshfield, Wash Force Exterior Cleaning, House of Heating, Be Well Studios, Jenny Shaner, Next Home, and Express Employment. Thank you to you people for making this possible. And here in the championship match, the 2 qualifiers, Lexi Stofflet, 29-8 junior from Assumption, going against Alexis Wagner, a 12-12 senior from Stevens Point. Stofflet, if I can find it here, there it is. Stofflet is ranked for Assumption Pacelli. She currently at 235 is the number 8 wrestler in the state, and she moves her record there to 30-8. Nice 43-second pin over Alexis Wagner. Both of these wrestlers will be advancing to next week. But Lexi Stofflet, regional champ at 235. Hey, we got the wrestlebacks coming up. I noticed that not a lot of them in the upper weights, so it'll be interesting. You need a 30-minute break, but I think we're going to be able to get right through these without a lot of breaks. Next Step Prosthetics, providing prosthetic and orthotics through Central Wisconsin. Take your next step. Contact them today. And Nasonville Dairy. They have the best cheese curds. They're made daily. I love those cheese curds. I love how they squeak. Get your cheese curds at Nasonville Dairy, found in Marshfield, Curtis, or NasonvilleDairy.com. I'm not kidding you when I tell you, those cheese curds at Nasonville Dairy, I can't drive past there without stopping. They are so good. Hey, just a final reminder that today's coverage for this was brought to you, this WIAA Girls Wrestling, by Zaleski Sports. And without the help of these people, it doesn't happen. American Auto Sales and Service of Marshfield, Washforce Exterior Cleaning, SHP Outtown, Fairway Mortgage, and Citizen State Bank. Thanks to all of you for your support. Like I said, there will be a few matches taking place here. I didn't keep accurate count of how many wrestlebacks there are, but I think there was about 4. About normal for a wrestling regional, especially one where the wrestlers maybe didn't see each other during the course of the year. Even though this is a lot of central Wisconsin teams, there's a big difference in distance traveled between a Marshfield and say an Almond Bancroft or Assumption's not so bad, but some of these, Plainfield, it's a long hike on over, and unless you connect in a tournament, they probably don't see each other too often. We don't have dual meets yet for girls. I'm happy we have our Saturday tournaments. Some of these girls get into 40, 50 matches, and they do it only by wrestling in their Saturday tournaments. It's nice of those girls to give us Saturday. It's even nicer of the coaches. A lot of the smaller schools don't have a girls coach. So the boys coach, the head coach takes the boys one direction, the girls go another direction. And, it's long days, 12, 14, 16 hours from the time you get up and leave the house, from the time you get back. Really helps to have good supportive families. If you're a guy coaching, really helps to have a good supportive wife. In my case, I was lucky in that I had boys. We had boys who wanted to wrestle, and that made my life a lot easier to keep coaching. Coached 37 years, and I enjoyed every single one of them. A lot of coaches wonder, how can you be gone? A lot of basketball, baseball, football coaches, how can you guys enjoy being gone 14, 16 hours on a Saturday? And I'll tell you the secret to it. Work with coaches that you enjoy and want to be around. Line yourself up with good people, and it makes fun days, good days. They're doing the awards right now at the weight classes that they can. The reason for this is to assure that we'll get the half-hour breaks for everybody who needs it for the wrestlebacks. So this gives them a little more time to get that rest in, and probably we won't need to wait for anyone to wrestle. A lot of those matches that we watched ended with pins. And when you need 30 minutes of break, first period pins don't help your 30-minute try there. So just a reminder for you, by the way, that today's coverage of the WIAA Girls Wrestling Regionals here on Zaleski Sports was brought to you by a lot of fine people that we really appreciate them helping us run this thing. Brought to you by American Auto Sales and Service of Marshfield, Wash Force Exterior Cleaning, Next Step Prosthetics, Chips Hamburgers, and Wheelers Chevrolet GMC. I think on my way home, Chips Hamburgers and I are going to get to know each other. Sounds like a nice place to stop. So they're announcing the first and second place, as you can probably hear, from the matches that do not have wrestlebacks. And once that is done, we will then be moving into the few wrestlebacks that we do have.
And at 145 pounds, taking second from
So,
Marshfield, Delilah Young.
it is kind of exciting to see some of the bigger programs. Like I said, your Stevens Points, your Marshfields, your Wisconsin Rapids. Great to see the amount of people they have out for this sport. But then when you look at also your Assumption Pacelli's and your Plainfield Tri-County, Nakusa Port Edwards, just the amount of girls that wrestle, it just amazes me, and how it keeps growing every year. I walk into our little kids practice quite often, and there's a dozen girls in there. Will they continue with it? I don't know, but it's nice they have the interest. Used to be, there really wasn't the chance. Macy Kilties are a rare thing, to be honest with you, and who can compete on an even level. And even then, at 106, they compete. Once you get up to those heavier weights, it's a little hard. I'm not saying Brooke Hoffman couldn't compete well against the guys. I really believe she would have a very good record competing against boys. But it's just awesome the way girls wrestling has taken off in this state. The WA did a big rule change this year. I'm kind of interested in seeing what happens. Used to be girls would sub in on the boys squad wherever they had holes or wherever the girls earned a spot. This year, the WA has made it girls could still wrestle on the boys' teams. But if they choose to wrestle on the boys' team, they're ineligible for the girl competition at the end of the year. I'm interested to see if that has any impact on numbers. A lot of the smaller schools that maybe have had a girl interested or maybe two girls interested, did they continue a program for those girls going against other girls, just other girls? It'll be interesting to see what the numbers look like. I got to think the way the sport's growing that the numbers are still soaring upward, but I'm sure that's going to make a little bit of a dent in the numbers. Well, they've got all the first and second place awards for those that do not need wrestlebacks handed out. So we will shortly be getting going with the wrestlebacks. The first two, they're going to do two at once. Lucky for me, which will make it a little bit difficult. But we're going to do 107 and 120. Luckily for me, I've got my iPad on one and my iPhone working on another, so I can keep track of both of these going on at the same time, hopefully. And at 107, it is going to be Taylor Fuller, 12 and 14. Out of Wisconsin Rapids, going against Brinley Bremer, 21 and 19, sophomore from Marshfield. And at 120. No, excuse me.
On man 2 at 126 pounds.
126.
Felicia Del La
It is going to be Felicia De La Torre, sophomore, against Addison Rettler of Tri-County. So this match here between Fuller and Bremer promises to be a very good one. I would think, being Rapids against Marshfield, they've met already this year. Fuller quickly gets the takedown. He's got that front half on, trying to get the turn, but nice reversal there by Brindley Bremer. Makes it a 3-2 match, 30 seconds in. Fuller had that power half on, going on. Got a little far out front. Bremer just pulled her arm down, pulled the shoulder down. Fuller lost her balance, and she gets the reversal. Bremer, as I said, 21-19 sophomore against Fuller, 12-14 junior. And Bremer now has that front half. She's trying to move it up to a cradle, it looks like. Fuller's controlling her hand, making it very difficult for her to move. And down on the other mat, it is going to be Valencia De La Torre against Addison Rettler. De La Torre 40-14 against Rettler 3-7. And Brindley Bremer is going to pick up some back points here. In fact, she's going to get more than back points. We still got 30 seconds left here in the first period. She's got 1 foot in bounds. She's got to keep that foot in bounds. Her toes just in bounds by about 6 inches. You can see it hanging on. 10 seconds left in the period. And the referee gives her back points. I don't think they scored them up there yet for us. They did. 4 back points for Brindley. Going to give her a 6-3 lead here after the first period. And Taylor Fuller, who got the takedown, going to go both up. Smart move since she got the first takedown to open this thing up. She scored the first 3. And Bremer came back to score the next 6. Marshfield has 2 girls here attempting to make it on to sectionals.
Again, we did not start the 165-pound match.
On the 126-pound match, Valencia De La Torre has a 6-2 lead. And takedown again secured by Taylor Fuller. Ties the match up. Minutes still remaining here in the second. Fuller does a nice job on her feet. She's got that half on. She's going to be scoring back points here if she can trap that arm. Bremer's trying to get that arm inside. She's got her over for back points. Bremer manages to get her off, but couldn't free her arm. There, she frees that arm. That half is still on, though. I don't think the ref's going to award the 4 yet because she's going to take her right back over again. Still 40 seconds remaining in this period. Bremer's in a lot of trouble. Gets off to her belly again, and this time the half's still on. So the referee is still not going to award those 4 points yet. And Bremer's again in trouble and comes out of it. 4 back points for Taylor Fuller. 2 reversal for Brindley Bremer. Fuller now has a 10-8 lead here in the last couple seconds. And right on the buzzer, Brindley Bremer gets the pin, comes from behind, gets the pin. 1 minute, 59 and .99 seconds. With that pin, Brindley will be moving on to next week's sectional. Also on the mat that we did not see with the pin was Valencia de la Torre from Marshfield, 41 and 14 now, 55 matches wrestled this year. She will be moving on next week as a second. So we're moving rapidly through these matches. And Marshfield advances 2 people on right there at 114 and 126. And we are wrapping up this night rather quickly. There's not a lot of wrestling left to go. I do see another match coming up soon. I will be trying to locate what weight class we are at. There it is, 165. We have to wait. In order to make that 30-minute threshold, we got to give it a 6-minute break. So, hey, if you have enjoyed watching this wrestling tonight, please support our sponsors. I'm not saying go out and buy a new car, but why not? Like I say, this couldn't be done without them. Very good night of wrestling. Some very excited teams, very excited spectators, very excited wrestlers. It's going to be interesting next Friday at Stevens Point. When you bring in those other 3 regionals and you bring in the talent that is in Central Wisconsin. Talking to one of the refs, and he said, what the WIAA did this year, they have 2 more wrestling regionals in the area that are going to different sectionals. So we're really splitting up the Central Wisconsin talent. I think that's a good thing. In girls wrestling, they just, like I said, they keep getting better. Next year, it's going to be a battle for a state title. What they'll be doing is awarding the team points at state. For boys wrestling, this weekend, like I said, tomorrow's regionals. Next weekend, I believe Marshfield is hosting a Class A regional, Division I regional. I know Auburndale's hosting a Division III regional. I'm going to the Division III. It's going to be a dog fight there. Auburndale's got a great team, no question about it, and a young team. But when you meet up with another regional and you get all that talent put together in a room, anything can happen. Teams that shouldn't be in it, they get on a roll. And I don't know why a sport like wrestling builds momentum. It doesn't make a lot of sense when it's all an individual, but it really does. Momentum is amazing. I remember one year when our team made it to team sectionals, and we won the first 3 matches by, I think, a combined total of 4 points. And then after that, we just took off. Just momentum. And, it doesn't make sense in an individual sport, but it happens. So we have one more match tonight. And like I said, all of the coverage that we had today was brought to you by our sponsors. We really appreciate them for all they do for us. Tonight, if you notice, there were no video commercials. Could I have used a break? Yeah. But it was enjoyable. Just a super enjoyable. I didn't know what to expect. Girls regionals, WIA's trying something new. It was interesting. Very interesting. Some very good matches. It'll be interesting for me to see how many of these girls today will get out of next week. And like I said, we wish Jasmine Hebert from Auburndale a recovery, a good, speedy recovery, good health. It was really a sad thing she couldn't be here today. Definitely one of the top 152-pounders in the state. Fortunately, she's a junior, and she will be here next year, that's for sure. The last match coming up is at 165. We're going to have Layla Fisher, who entered tonight as the number 1 seed from Assumption Pacelli, 19 and 13 junior. Layla will be going against Caitlin Glass, who entered as the number 2 seed, 25 and 19 freshman. So the champ at this weight was the lowest seed of the 3, Aaliyah Saletre, 22 and 16 freshman from Marshfield, gets out of here as the champion. Wish her luck next week, but I do know at 165, that is going to be one tough weight class next week. I'm not sure if Adams Friendship is there. I know Watoma's there, so that means that Vaughn from Watoma will be there. For those who remember the Vaughns, a great wrestling family from Spencer. And Adam and his wife are now having great wrestlers down in Watoma. Laney and I think Brinley, very tough wrestlers at 152 and 165, who will be at next week's sectional. So I think it's just going to be a great sectional. I think I'm going to be there. Even if Zaleski Sports doesn't carry it, the wrestling that's going to be there is going to be outstanding. It's going to be a lot of fun to see. From the weight classes that have been concluded, almost all of them, it's sort of fun to see the award stand. Now there's people down getting pictures all over, group pictures of teams, family pictures, individuals. Neat thing to see. It's fun to see holding up the regional WIAA regional championship sheets. I love how the WIAA is putting their time and energy into this sport. They're making it what I think is going to become amazing. I think it's just going to be amazing. So the last match of the day, we finally hit our 30 minutes. And Lila Fisher in the blue from Assumption Pacelli, going against Caitlin Glass from Marshfield. My producer tonight, Ryan Rasmussen, great job as always. He's anxious to get home and watch the curling. Kind of like watching paint dry to me, but he loves it. The girls are both trying upper body. They continue that, this won't be going for 6 minutes. Fisher in the blue is 19 and 13. Glass, 25 and 19. So their records are quite similar. Their styles are quite similar. And probably explains this is going to be a close match. As far as records go, 165 probably had the most even wrestlers in it. Referee has a little talk with him, gets him back to the center. Minute 10 gone here in the first. And tomorrow, if you are bored, there is a lot of wrestling going on. It's going to be a fun day. I am anxious to see how this new format for boys wrestling goes. No longer do we have the regionals. It's going to be everybody together. Here we go. Caitlin Glass almost got the takedown on Fisher. And Fisher looks like a little neck injury. Not a little neck injury. Took a shot in the forehead. Referee starts the time. Her coach is quickly out to see her, assess her. Caitlin Glass over in her corner. Marshfield coach is telling her, push that head down and spin. She did almost have that. What they're trying to show her, she almost got the takedown off of that. If she had secured an ankle, she would have had the 3. 12 seconds left here in this first period. And the referee stops the injury time. Wrestlers back to the center. We'll have to see what this does for Lila Fisher. Sometimes when you take an injury like that, you don't wrestle quite as hard. Other times you come back a lot stronger. And that's going to end the first period. Now the flip of this coin in a 0-0 match is going to be important. Comes out to Marshfield. And Marshfield chooses to ride. Interesting strategy. In a boys match, usually in a 0-0 match, the boy who wins the toss will choose to take down. But I've seen tonight, most of the girls choose to ride. And Caitlin gets warned for an improper starting position. Lila wastes no time standing up. If she can stand up that quickly, Caitlin's going to be in trouble trying to hold her down. That was a good, powerful stand-up from Lila Fisher. Again, she's up, no problem. Moves the arms, and she's going to get that 1-point escape. 1-0 lead for her. Now we're going to see, this will be interesting. Will Caitlin Glass put to work now what her coaches are trying to get her to do? Pull that head down, get her down to the mat, and spin behind her for the 3. Lila Fisher gets warned for stalling. Backing up an awful lot. She's going to get hit again. I think Caitlin Glass is really putting the pressure on her. She is backing up an awful lot. Tried to do a spin there. That's all that saved her probably from getting hit there. Lynn Eisensee's very good official. He will let you get away with some, let's call, running off the clock, but you can't keep doing it. He will hit you. Lila Fisher, I think she's going to get hit a second time here pretty soon. Caitlin Glass is trying to tie her up, trying to set up a takedown. If Glass can come around behind her, couldn't quite come around behind, and referee's going to stop. Equipment problem. Oh, no, excuse me. Mouth guard. If you wear braces, WIAA insists you wear a mouth guard, which, by the way, is an awesome idea. 30 seconds remaining here in the second period. She's trying to hook that head and pull her down. She's in tight now with a body lock. Trying to spin behind. She's got behind her. She has to bring her down to the mat to get the takedown, though, and can't do it. Fisher's done a real good job this period of staying out of what Caitlin Glass is trying to do. Kind of surprised a little bit that she managed to get away that whole period without getting hit again for stalling, but and now for the third, Lila also chooses she's going to ride. No, excuse me. Yep, she is going to ride. Lila probably would have been wise to choose bottom herself because she didn't have any problem getting away. Glass quickly into a stand-up, but Lila brings her back down. She's got that half on her. I don't know how tight she's got that, but she is running it up front. Glass is staying up on a good, solid base, though. It makes it harder for her to go over, but that half is on. Nope. Now, Glass is going to stand up. She's got to work those arms. Fisher just got hit. Got hit for stalling, did not bring her down in 5 seconds, and then gave up the escape. I believe it was 2 points there. Score clock doesn't have that yet. They still have it 1-1, but I thought I saw 2 registered by the official. I did. They have it up now. Glass is hanging on to a 2-1 lead, and Caitlin Glass has not been warned for stalling. Only 50 seconds remaining in this match, and Caitlin Glass has a 2-1 lead over Lila Fisher. Now Glass just got warned. The Russells are tied up, and Glass has nothing. Fisher's got the advantage here. Lila Fisher gets the takedown and the back points and the pin. Lila Fisher comes from behind, secures the pin in 5 minutes and 28 seconds. And she will be advancing on to next week's sectional competition. Sectionals next week at Stevens Point at 5 p.m. Tomorrow, boys regional sectional competition taking place at all sorts of schools all around. And just a reminder to you, today's coverage of WIAA Girls Wrestling here on Zaleski Sports was brought to you by many who helped make this night possible. Please support them all you can. This is your announcer, Rick Winters, with my producer, Ryan Rasmussen, saying see you later.